But we called in, of the applicants that we took apps from last year, we called in 50 this year. And we're going to continue going through our wait list.
Is the waiting list more longer in other towns than Floresville?
No, sir. No, sir. They're very short. Very short. You're talking about of the troubled agencies that we took in, taken in. They're very short. Very short.
How many minutes did you have a question?
Well, what I was going to ask is, how many spaces do you have available? If you bring in 50 people, qualified people, for the housing?
Okay, let me try to clarify what you're asking me. How many vouchers are there available to lease up today as we stand here?
Yes.
With the current inventory that we have?
Yes.
There are 10.
10. So
10 spots that I need to fill. Yes. And last year, of our 87 baseline that we have, we were leased up to 81. But we had to stop issuing vouchers because we had a funding shortfall. And rather than cancel any of the families, we used some of our reserves to cover the 1 month that we were shorted, like $20-some-odd thousand. So we used our reserves.
well, you're backed up for 1 year, so if you're looking for something right now, whatever, chances are you're not going to get nothing because you have 50 people in front of you. Is that correct?
No, the individuals that we're calling now, that we're going to be calling in and making appointments for, applied in May of last year. The others had applied previous to this individual, this person that we're at now. And we had started taking applications last year. I believe it was in the month of February. So we went through, I don't know, I don't have the numbers about the number of individuals that we went through to get to where we are for this individual in May.
Okay,
and moving forward.
Did you have a question?
I was going to ask the same thing. Out of those 50, how many were helped?
The question might more be how many showed. And I was able to issue, out of those people, I was able to issue 15 vouchers. Of those 15 vouchers, up to this point in time, 4 have been placed.
So how do y'all do that? Do y'all call somebody and they don't show up? Do y'all call them again or just
No, ma'am. We send out a notice with an appointment time and let them know that they need to complete an application and bring it in with all of their supporting documents. And if they don't show,
So y'all don't call them or anything?
no, ma'am.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from the citizens? Any citizens' comments? If there are no other questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion to, for item 4B, consideration action to approve resolution 2018-013, Housing Authority voluntary transfer of the Gonzales HCV program. Do I hear a motion? I have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Cantu, a second by Councilman Nissen. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. All those opposed?
I would say.
4-1. 4-0-1. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Moving on to item 4C, consideration and action to approve resolution 2018-010 FEDC's Children Bereavement Center. That's our second reading. We have Director Tommy Baker. Thank you for being here.
Tommy Baker, FEDC Director, Mayor and Council. This is the second and final reading of these resolutions. The 4C being the Children's Bereavement Center. And if there are any questions from any of you or any of the public, I'll be glad to try to answer those.
Any questions or comments by the council regarding this? Any citizens' comments regarding this issue? Okay. If not, I will entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2018-010.
I move to approve resolution 2018-010.
I have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Cantu. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Ortiz. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. 4-0. Thank you. Moving on to the next item, which is item 4D. Consideration action to approve resolution 2018-011, Atascosa Health Center Incorporated.
And Madam Mayor, I'd like to just make a statement. The CEO of Atascosa Health Center, who spoke tonight, Monty Small, contacted me a couple of days before our last FEDC meeting on June 11th, and asked if the board would agree to 3 revisions in our deed restrictions. And on June 11th, my board agreed to these 3 revisions. And after the vote tonight by council, we have to wait until July meeting to ratify it, and then we move on. But basically, the health center asked, in our deed restrictions, we have a provision that says that if you buy our land, you have to start construction within 12 months. Monty needed more time, as you can imagine from his presentation, of trying to find funding and this and that and the other. He asked for 18 months, and the board agreed to that. The second provision was that instead of 30 days for them to bring a design plan to the board for approval, Monty asked for 60 days, and the board agreed to that.
So basically, you're asking to table this until your board ratifies the
No,
corrections?
ma'am. We need your vote tonight, and then one other thing, and then we can sign papers. And the third thing is that our deed restrictions call for $200 a day fee if they go beyond, in this case, Bonnie's case, of 18 months. And what the board agreed to was not to make it open-ended, but to say prior to the 18 months expiration, the CEO of the health center, Monty, has to come to my board and tell my board why he's going to run over the 18 months. And Monty was concerned about tariffs on steel and things like that that would be used in trying to construct this medical and dental clinic. And the board agreed to that as well. So they agreed to all 3 of those. And our attorney had just told me that I needed to make the council informed about those 3 revisions and that they've been approved.
Yes.
What was the second one? 60 to 90 or?
60 days instead of 30 for design plan review by the FEDC board.
And the FEDC board, they agreed to all 3 of these items?
I'm sorry, what was that?
They agreed?
They agreed to that.
Okay.
But part of our revisions, or part of our deed restrictions in the Veterans Business Park is that all the buildings have to have 75% rock or brick so that we keep high standards for buildings that go in there to protect values for each of those investors. And so that review process is the 60-day instead of 30-day after closing. So the board agreed to all those. And that's all I have.
Okay, any other questions? I'm gonna go ahead and move, hold on one second. Any citizens' comments? Oh, I'm talking about.
Okay.
Okay. If there's no citizens' comments, I do have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Cantu to approve Resolution 2018 -011. Do I have a second?
Second.
I've got a question.
Okay.
Is that included with the revision or not the revision?
Yes. Yes.
And it was already stipulated in that?
Yes. So I do have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second? Is that Mr. Ortiz? Mr. Ortiz, seconded? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Thank you. All right, moving on to item 4E, consideration of action to approve resolution 2018-012 FEDC concerning the Christmas decorations and the Chamber of Commerce. This is also a second reading. Okay. Are there any questions pertaining to this for Mr. Baker? And if you would, for the audience sake, could you kind of explain what we're dealing with on this resolution, Mr. Baker? Basically, the resolution that on this item, what it pertains to.
Yes, we're down to Christmas decorations.
Yeah, right.
And that just involves a $30,000 budget from the FEDC board. We just need the public and the council to agree on the second reading that that's fine.
Okay. Are there questions from the council members?
Yeah, I believe they're asking them, what's the $30,000 for?
To buy Christmas decorations for downtown, a 22-foot artificial tree that will go up in the vacant space around the Peanut on the courthouse square, and decorations for light post downtown, and prize money for a retailers decorating contest, so that we're trying to revitalize downtown and trying to make we have no Christmas decorations in storage, so we're starting over. But to make it where hopefully we can have folks come from the region, including San Antonio. The chamber's going to see that there's a late night shopping night, and possibly a parade.
Councilman Jimenez?
And why do you just want the downtown area to put in special things or for prize money instead of having the whole city of Floresville be on the same?
Because my board wanted to focus on downtown and trying to revitalize shopping and people that are downtown as businesses.
And what's your take on that? You don't think the
I
whole
can
city of
tell you
Floresville
this,
should get involved, or
that
just on the
if
downtown?
we went to the entire town of Floresville, $30,000 would not touch it. And so, to me,
No, we're not talking about that. We're talking about you're saying that the downtown area should be, I guess, get a prize money for doing a setup for the Christmas event. Who could decorate their place the prettiest and stuff. So don't you think that you should get the whole city involved? It's not just always on the downtown area.
I was directed by my board to stick to downtown, and that's it.
Any other questions or comments by the council? Any citizens' comments pertaining to this? Okay, I will read the resolution and then I'll entertain a motion. A resolution of the City Council of the City of Floresville, Texas, authorizing expenditures not to exceed $30,000 for the Economic Development Fund and the City of Floresville, Texas, to assist with the procurement and purchase of equipment, decorations, and infrastructure improvements for areas within the city for promotion of new and expanded business. I will entertain a motion.
So, Madam Mayor, but I would like to say that this is another good start, a good example of revitalizing the downtown, and hopefully in the future, if y'all want to consider it, like Councilman Jimenez said that.
Yes, absolutely. If we can get things going and iron out the kinks, there's no reason why
Right,
we can't. We
so,
can't go with it.
So,
Okay, I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Ortiz, and I have a second by Councilwoman Cantu. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Thank you. 5-0. Thank you, Mr. Baker. Moving on to item F, consideration and action to approve making the intersection of E and 5th Street a four-way stop as recommended by the Floresville Police Department. We have our city manager here.
Well, actually, we have Lieutenant Evans, who made the recommendation, and he provided a map. And he spoke to the gentleman, and he can go over the map as well as his recommendation.
I'm ready to make a motion.
Okay, hold on. Hold on. He's a baby, so he has one. Yeah.
Testing 1, 2. It's working.
Okay, Lieutenant Evans, I think you got the floor.
Thank you, Council. It's cut and dry. We received requests from more than one citizen in the area of 5th and E to place a stop sign at the intersection. There's a good bit of traffic there. It does go a little fast at times, and there are a lot of children in that area where you wouldn't normally see as many in other areas, other streets, which was what brought it to, I'm sure, the residents' attention, and they asked us to take a look. We took a look and recommended a stop sign. I don't think there's any reason not to put a stop sign other than for people who would prefer to drive a little fast through the intersection.
Isn't there another four-way stop just a block or two down?
There is one west, east, northeast,
That would be on E and 7?
6.
Any questions for the council, from the council? Or any comments, Councilman Johnson?
Would the speed bump be more appropriate there? I have some people here that would like to comment on it that live exactly on that corner.
If you're asking me, I think the speed bump's a poor idea anywhere because of what it does to vehicles, people that aren't familiar with the street and don't see the speed bump. A stop sign makes people stop. That speed bump makes people sometimes slow down. And speed bumps at intersections are not a good idea because when they are disregarded, it can cause vehicles to enter the intersection in a bad manner, poor manner, where it's more of a danger to other vehicles. I just think they're a bad idea.
Any other questions by the council?
Don't we have a speed bump between,
We have lots of speed bumps in town, sir. I don't agree with most of them.
between, would that be 7th and 8th Street, by chance?
We have many speed bumps in town, but I disagree with speed bumps. So I fully recommend a stop sign at that intersection because of the residents and the vehicle traffic. I don't think a speed bump's a good idea. It should be a four-way intersection.
Next question.
Councilman Nissen was next, and then.
Curiosity, how many is 4 signs going to cost this, or is, I figured 2 signs is fine driving down there, but what's the cost? Must be
It's a two-way already, so it'll be 2 signs, Councilman.
just 2 signs?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's coming here selling 4-way, so we got 2 signs, so that's cheap compared to speed bumps, or what?
You can put the price of, accident.
I certainly wouldn't know, Council. We don't ever deal with the cost of those signs.
The sign, the cost, you would have to have, even if you put a speed bump in, you have 2 signs there as well. to say yield, to let people know. You actually put in 4 signs. You put a sign in further away, tell people you're approaching a speed bump, and you put 2 signs where the speed bumps are, because you go both directions. This way you only put up 2 signs. With a speed bump, you have to put up 4.
Thank you.
Councilman Ortiz?
Yes, how many complaints have there been there for this area here?
Total complaints, I don't know, Councilman.
Have you made any survey or given any tickets, you know, just a fine?
The survey was me watching traffic in the area.
And you didn't give any tickets or anything, just everything was smooth?
My intent was not to sit in a police car and write tickets. My intent was to survey the area. So no, I didn't write any tickets.
Prior, were there any tickets issued there at that area?
Couldn't tell you right now. I don't know.
And I know for Chad, they do come fast, you know, down here toward 3rd Street from 5th and 6th, where they stop. I've gone over there, right down that corner. I know where it's at now. That's it, man. Thank you.
Thank you. Was there, at this point, any citizens' comments, which would be people that live in the neighborhood? Thank you. And right behind you, Lieutenant Evans.
Yes, my name's Henry Manger, and I was part of the parties requested the stop sign, speed bump, something. What I was looking for was something to slow the people down going down there. There's approximately 13 children on that corner that are under the age of 13 years old. Mr. Ortiz knows Mr. Pena. Mr. Pena has 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 kids that are anywhere from 2 years old to 11 or 12. I've got 3 grandsons that live on the corner. We have several elderly people that live on the same block that go back and forth. There are speed bumps between there and Highway 81. There's past the 4-way stop going back towards Highway 81 and M&M Motors up there. There's actually 2 sets up there. One set was put in last year, approximately 50 yards before a stop sign. I don't like speed bumps. I have to drive over them every day to go to work. But I wanted something in there to try to slow traffic down. The last thing that I wanted to see is someone's child get run over because somebody's coming, you know, down that street so fast. Because once they leave that one stop sign up there, they know they got a clear shot all the way down to Mr. John's corner, to where his business is. So, speed bump, stop sign, I really don't care. We just need something there that slows the people down, stops the people, makes them pay attention going through that corner.
Have you talked to, I'm sure you have talked to the neighbors around, are they in?
Yes, ma'am. I've spoken with Mr. Pena, that lives across the street, with Raymond Pena. I've spoken with his daughter that lives across on the other side. I've spoken with Dolores Kiki, who is one of the elderly ladies that I was speaking of that lives right there, back and forth across the street. They're all pretty much in agreement with where we are.
Okay. So if the 4-way stop is put in, are the speed bumps taken out?
I have no, I mean, if there's a 4-way stop put in, that's fine. Then I'm not going to request the speed bumps. I mean, Mr. Evans recommended, when I talked to Mr. Evans and Ms. Turner, Mr. Evans recommended the stop sign, not the speed bumps. And so, whichever way it is, I'm happy. If we can put something in there that's going to help slow down or stop, you know,
I'll make a motion to put the 4-way stops.
Okay. Before I entertain a motion, please let them present their, who has talking, finish their comments. So, Mr. Mayor, appreciate it. So, you basically are representing the people that live in that particular area.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If there are no other further questions or comments, I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Jimenez to approve, let's see, how is it written?
4-way stop.
To approve making the intersection of E and 5th Street a 4-way stop as recommended by the Floresville Police Department. I have a motion on the floor, seconded by Councilwoman Cantu. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Thank you. 5-0. Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much. Moving on to item G, consideration and action to approve ordinance 2018-008 to voluntary annexation 100 Wilson Drive. It has our city attorney on this one.
Thank you, Mayor. As you have in your packet and the attorney has prepared for you, there is an ordinance that will allow the voluntary annexation of the property that I spoke of earlier that wants to voluntary annex. One of the questions that was asked me earlier was actually, is this part of the, would this be part of the annexation for annexation 2019? The answer is yes, it would have been, but they need to connect and go forward. And so they did not want to wait until 2019. They're willing to voluntary annex at this point. The attorney has prepared the agreement. I'm quite sure he can answer any questions that you may have in reference to the annexation.
And in regards to our city attorney, I'm sorry, you told me your name and
Yes, Mayor, my name is Michael Zamora.
okay. And you've read it over. Are there anything that you would suggest on this particular ordinance?
No, if it pleases the mayor and the council, Ms. Rodriguez prepared this on behalf of the council, and I believe it had been approved by the Planning and Zoning Commission
And by the council.
and by the council. And I believe everything's in here that needs to be in here.
Yes, this was prepared by her office.
Okay. Any citizens' comments pertaining to this issue? Okay, if not, I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Jimenez. Do I have a second? Seconded by Councilwoman Cantu. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. 5-0. Consideration, moving on to item H, consideration and action to approve ordinance 2018-010 to rezone 100 Wilson Drive.
Yes, Mayor, City Council. You had a public hearing about that earlier this evening. Again, just for the record, we had a public hearing at the Planning and Zoning as well. When you annex a property in, it comes in at R1, and we're recommending that this be annexed as a business district. Commercial is too broad, so they want to be able to have it as a business district, and it comes a recommendation from P&Z.
Okay. Any citizens' comments or any council comments before I have a motion on the floor? Okay, if not, I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Jimenez. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilman Nissen. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. 5-0. Thank you. Okay, moving on to item I, consideration action to approve ordinance 2018-011 to rezone 2405 10th Street.
Good evening, Mayor. This ordinance was also prepared by Ms. Rodriguez. It came to council back in May to approve the rezoning request. This is going to be the Ocean Training Center, and they're going to be doing some certifications for the oil field. So it was approved to rezone, and now we are asking to approve an ordinance for it to be rezoned. It was rezoned from residential to business as well.
Any questions or comments?
Okay,
Okay,
so the citizens that in that area, you said there was everything was positive?
Yes, we held a public hearing for that as well.
That's on 10th Street, 2405.
It is, correct me if I'm wrong, it's right next, the little building right next to the apartment entrance.
Yes, ma'am.
Apartments, before Planet was free.
Okay.
I know that little house right
Yeah,
there.
I went over there, I know what it's at.
Any other questions? Any citizens' comments? If not, I will entertain a motion to approve ordinance 2018-011.
I move.
I have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Cantu. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilman Jimenez. Okay, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. Thank you, 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item J, consideration and action excuse me, to approve agreement with Oak Hills Water Supply. City Manager?
Mayor, if I may, we were not able to get everything we needed back from the attorney in time. And if I could ask the patience of the council to table items J and K.
If there's no other comments about that, I'll entertain a motion to table item J first, and then we have to do. Why?
But the attorney wasn't able to complete all the documentation in time. We really tried to work hard and get this going, but she wasn't able to complete it. It is quite a task to do so, but it should be ready at the next meeting.
Okay. I will entertain a motion first for item J, and then I'll go with item K. So I'll entertain a motion to table item J.